Okay, in the only match today in the Rugby World Cup, Italy played Uruguay in Nice. There was rain before kick-off, which has had an impact on the game. This is a tale of two halves, a tale of a match which has 3 yellow cards, a drop goal, a penalty try, and finally some refereeing common sense when it comes to accidental head contact. We finally got there. It just took, 2.5 weeks into the Rugby World Cup for a common sense decision to prevail from the on-field referee, who I felt had a good game. Angus Gardner had a brilliant game. And I think some of the TMOs were pushing for yellows when it's just accidental contact, really. Anyway, so the first half, Italy played well for 6 minutes, imploded for 34, and was 17-7 down at half-time. You're thinking Uruguay are winning, have the potential to do what they should have done against France, against Italy, except Italy did what France couldn't and get the bonus point try in the second half. Second half, Italy exploded into life. Uruguay were brave, but couldn't score any points. So it's finished 38-17. But let's break the game down. So the first 6 minutes, Lorenzo Pani scores the first try after Uruguay butcher things at the other end. And it's a brilliant set play off the scrum, first receiver. And he bulldozes his way over the line and carries a few defenders with him, and he just gets enough downward pressure on the ball to score the try. Angus Gardner doesn't believe he has done that, goes up to the TMO for a check, and they go, no, his hand has remained in contact with the ball the entire time. Lorenzo Pani, he's only played a handful of caps. First try, very young. He's the youngest player in the Italian squad, and this is a very young Italian squad, which I think explains some of their naivety with the playing of the conditions, because it rained before kickoff. Western Europe has been hammered by heavy rain, aftermath of several hurricanes in the Atlantic that have hit the US. This latest hurricane, Hurricane Lee, didn't cause much damage in the US, but brought a lot of heavy rain. And as the storm path has tracked across the North Atlantic, it's dumped the rest of that rain over the UK, parts of Portugal, parts of Spain, and parts of France, and into the rest of Northern and Western Europe. And so it's rained quite heavily before kickoff. But Pani scores the try. Tommy Allen converts. Now, the common sense decision that we've been waiting for until this point into the World Cup. There's a TMO check for foul play on Sebastian Negrin, or clear out on Freitas, the Uruguayan winger, who's had a brilliant first half. Freitas, by the way, he scores a very, very good try. Now, it's accidental. If anything, Freitas headbutts Brex. I think, is it Brex? Yeah, Brex, the centre, who's made the tackle. He's gone in. They both gone in for a clear out. And Freitas has basically headbutted the back of Brex's head, and as Sebastian Negri is going in to compete at the ruck, and the referee has seen it as accidental, and there's a legitimate clear up. The TMO is trying to push for a yellow, but finally we have a common sense decision when it comes to accidental head contact. As I've been saying now for the first 2.5 weeks of this World Cup, if we were to judge every head contact, we would have no players on the field. So finally, common sense prevails. But after that, the game gets scrappy. The only area where Italy have dominance is the scrum. They're not continuing with the momentum they have after the first 10 minutes. So for the next 30, they're trying to run everything. Because it's been wet before kickoff, it's rained, it's slippy, they're overplaying, handling errors. They're not playing the territory. They're trying to run everything from deep, which is admirable, because that's clearly a game plan decision by coaching setup, which I think they've got wrong. I think they should have been a bit more pragmatic and maybe not run from as deep, maybe a little bit more tactical kicking. Because what is interesting, out of these two teams who played 3 games between them before this match, George Ford has kicked more than these two teams combined in 3 games. So both these sides like to run the ball and keep breakdowns quick, ruck quick, quick ball, quick ball, quick ball. But Uruguay, they're losing in the scrum, but they're winning in the breakdown. In the first half, their number 6, I forget his name, has played like Richie McCaw on steroids, basically, and that then the whole Uruguayan team buys into that breakdown competition to slow Italian ball down in the first half, and it frustrates the Italian. They continue to try and force the play. So the longer it stays 7-0, Uruguay can sense a chance like they had against the French. They're making it uncomfortable for the better side on paper. And then we have the 2 yellow cards. Again, Italy overplaying. They end up stuck down their end by overplaying. Now, the first yellow is for Canone for deliberately diving in at a ruck and sealing off. That's just professional foul. They didn't have a warning at that point. That is in a try-scoring position. So he's binned on 25 minutes. From the resulting penalty line-out, Frischetti gets a yellow card for collapsing the maul, and therefore it's a penalty try on 27 minutes. Then there's about another 9 or so minutes of just Uruguay basically battering the Italians. Uruguay were the better side for most of the first half. Now, the Freitas try just comes from just wave after wave of Uruguayan pressure. I mean, Echeverri, he's had a mixed day with the boot, but he's had this conversion from Freitas' try. He helps create the try with his vision, seeing the space and getting it to Freitas. And Freitas is, I think, going to end up at a European club or a club in major, a European club will sign him. A top level European club will sign him. He's a fantastic winger. He's had a great World Cup so far. He's well deserved his try. Now, Echeverri missed a couple of easy penalties, but this conversion, it's almost like watching swing bowling in cricket. He's bent it out and it bends back in. It's a banana kick conversion. It's a fantastic conversion considering he's missed 2 sitters. He's pinged that one from the corner, from the touchline. And Uruguay now 14-7 up. They're leading by a converted try. And then right at the end of the first half, he slots an opportunist drop goal. This World Cup has had a lot of drop goal attempts, and he slots one. And it's probably a better drop goal than anything that George Ford did, because George Ford, I think, had a bit more time and space. Echeverri's under a lot of pressure, and he just snaps one. He just goes, right, I'm going to slot this right on the strike of half time. And it's 17-7 at half time to Uruguay. Italy basically imploded. And Italy of old, maybe 5-10 years ago, this would have been an implosion completely in the second half. Except they do what they should have done in the first half. They get their kicking game right, so they get a bit more territory. Then they start playing in opposition territory. They dominate the territory. They play smart. They realise the conditions aren't suited to their original game plan A, so they go to game plan B, which is what they should have done earlier on. Most likely after about 10 minutes in the first half, it was very clear and very obvious that their game plan was probably not going to work with the playing surface and the pre-match rain, the slippiness. Now, what does help them in the second half is Villaseca getting sent off for a head contact. It's not. I don't think he's gone in there maliciously. There is mitigation to a certain extent. Pani slips, falling in the tackle, but Villaseca is still too upright, and that's a shoulder to the head. And with where we're going, I think that's fair for that kind of tackle. We can argue the Tom Curry, we can argue the Sigurdsson one from earlier in the tournament where we're going consistency, but I think Villaseca's one. I think we're at least we're getting some consistency in that area now. I think Tom Curry shouldn't have been a red, but we're now getting consistency with those accidental shoulders to head. I don't think he's lined him up from a distance and drilled him. He's stationary. He's trying to brace for the contact, and another player is tackling Pani, so Pani's falling down a little bit, which I think saves him from a red. I think that was just about deserved if we're going by consistency or precedent. But Italy take full advantage. Nicoletta, he had a try disallowed. It was held up. It went to TMO review. That's from the resulting driving maul. And then a captain's knocked by Lamaro, and then Italy explode in like a 15-minute spell. They just finally came to life. Lamaro gets his first try for Italy on 46 minutes. Great line break. Tommy Allen converts. Ioane on 52 minutes. Again, very similar line break. They're now hitting first or second receiver. Now they're now hitting punching holes through the Uruguayan defence. That's given everything at this point. I think the France game did take more out of them than we realise. Italy have had an extra week of preparation. Uruguay haven't. They played that extra game. So I think, again, scheduling. We could look and ask about scheduling. Uruguay have had a shorter turnaround for this game. And so we can argue scheduling again. And that comes up every Rugby World Cup. But Ioane, again, second, running a good hard line. He's been pretty good today, especially in the second half. Lorenzo Canone, not the Canone, the other Canone brother. That he gets the bonus point try. And again, they're all really really similar tries with how they're punching holes by choosing the right dummy runners, the right ball runner to hit it up and attack the ball with pace. They're now winning that breakdown. Yes, Uruguay are still stealing some on the breakdown, as are Italy. There's a great battle at the breakdown with Italy. When they do retain possession, they're speeding up the play. What Uruguay did very well in the first half was disrupt that speed of play. Italy, when they have the quick ball and on front foot and win the collision, they are actually quite talented, and I think they will give France and New Zealand a real run for their money, considering how those two sides played that opening game and how France have played so far. They are hitting the ball at pace, which leads to a lot of these tries. And then Brex gets his try in 61 minutes. And again, he's now moved in to first receiver. And he just nails it, he nails his line. They've identified that Uruguay are starting to tire, and they're getting the big ball runners. These big, they're not all the Italians are massive, but they have a lot of power and pace, and they're lining them up quickly and bang, 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 bang. It's quick ball, bang, break the game line. 1-2 pass, bang, big carry. 1-2 pass, bang, and they are literally either doing off first pass or second pass. They're hitting the ball at pace, winning the contact, win the next breakdown, recycle quick, and repeat and recycle. Italy have one of the quickest ruck speeds in world rugby. They are so quick at recycling the ball when they finally get dominance in the contact, and they are very good at doing that. For this young Italian side, I think we're a bit naive in the first half. They showed a lot of maturity in the second half, which is what they possibly should have shown in the first half. I think having a poor first half woke them up. I think that team talk at half time woke them up. Uruguay, they ran out of steam. Now, Garbisi steadies things finally with his penalty on 69 minutes. The last 10 minutes of the game, the energy peters out a little bit. Italy are still trying to throw the ball around. They've got a second bonus point win, which is very, very important. France failed to get the bonus point win against Uruguay. Yes, Italy were shocking in the first half, but in just 40 minutes, they showed what they are capable of. When they keep their discipline, don't have silly sin bins, don't make silly errors in regards of is it kick selection, do we run, when they have game management, when they quickly change from a plan A that clearly isn't working to plan B and maybe even plan C. They alter their attack, they alter how they control the possession. They have shown in 40 minutes what they should have done in 80, but for most of the first half they implode. So they still have these errors in their game. They are willing to run from deep. They are willing to be brave, which a lot of sides at this World Cup have actually shown they are willing to start attacks from their 22 or even in their 5-metre area. Now, there's a time and a place for that. Italy, as a young side, which has got a lot of potential, they need time when they do that. First half, after about 10 minutes, is probably not the time to do that. You have to earn the right to go wide. The Uruguayan defence was very, very disciplined and therefore wasn't allowing them the space to ping it wide and then try and get round them, try and run it from deep. They were very, very organised. They had to wear them down. Unfortunately, they made things harder for themselves by having two players in the sin bin at the same time, and they were playing 15 against 13, and ultimately, well, I think they dealt with that reasonably well for the most part. They do concede, another try. They do slip behind, and they have to do a come from behind win, but then they dominate the second half. Uruguay didn't score a point in the second half. Italy show they can be ruthless. France, I think, should be concerned. France should be very, very concerned. France have underperformed up to this point. They were torrid against Uruguay, and the All Blacks made them look world class when actually they were pretty average against the All Blacks as well. So Italy, should I say, have the potential to upset the France and New Zealand. They've never beaten New Zealand, but they have beaten France in their history, and they may play upon that going. This French side isn't firing on all cylinders. He's looking a little bit off the boil. They're making sloppy errors. If they play like they did in the second half, France are going to be in for a game, and that's going to be a titanic struggle between two great rivals who've got a great history against each other in a variety of sports. And Italy, I think, have the potential and the ability to beat them. So there we go. Uruguay, they gave everything in the first half. They were brilliant in the first half. Second half, they just could not sustain any possession for any length of time, and they looked absolutely shattered. But Uruguay have been a credit to the tournament. They've been fantastic to watch. They've been very, very brave in two defeats. I think the scoreline flatters Italy a little bit with how Italy played the first half, but a thoroughly entertaining game. But Italy were just a machine in the second half. And that's how you win test matches, especially when you're not playing well the entire time. Italy are a bit Jekyll and Hyde still, but they are fun to watch as well. And as a neutral who likes both Italy and Uruguay and watched both these sides play a lot over the years, it was a pretty good match to watch as a neutral. You wanted either side to really win because it makes the group interesting if Uruguay do actually go and win, because they've obviously got to play Namibia as well, and that would make the group really interesting then. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Please place your thoughts in the comments section below. France play Namibia tomorrow night. There's no more games today, but from me for now, it is goodbye, and I'll have some more content for you very, very soon.